How is that working for you? The power of choice. The world is shaped by decisions that have rippled across time. Our lives were shaped by the decisions of those that came before us made, and the decision we ourselves have made in the past that led us to where we are now, and our future, that proverbial place full of endless possibilities, can only be made by the choices we make today. For the most part, we forget that the decisions we make from the choices that we have are a part of a design that makes the world go round and life to continue and develop. Our decisions make our lives, and not a lot of us remember that or even acknowledge that. Having a choice is part of how the universe works, God's grand design. A freedom that God bestowed upon us that allows us to have a certain power in our own lives. It is by this light that we are able to paint our own life through the choices we make and the consequences that eventually build our life's ultimate image. However, many times we fall short in making the right choices. We make a habit out of them, unknowingly casting an effect that affects the rest of our lives. It becomes problematic, and a vicious cycle works out. So you ask yourself, how did it come to this? As sentient beings, capable of analysis and logic, we reflect and map out our own behavior. And as God's children, we should seek guidance and pray. Here's how this folds out. What compels us to make a choice? Philosophy tells us of two things: intention and effect. We often make a choice based on what the consequences are, a certain effect that we want to happen. Another is our intention, an intrinsic reason, a certain value system that compels us to act, an inner voice. Psychology tells us of pleasure, desire, reward, and punishment. We decide based on the things that give us what we want, like making a decision about getting a giant piece of New York-style pizza as opposed to, let's say, a bowl of vegetable salad. A pizza is a treat to the taste buds rather than a bland vegetable salad, even though it's popular knowledge that the salad helps you in the long run. But the pizza offers pleasure, period. And everyone knows that. We also base our decisions on its effect on us. One choice leads you to get punished. One choice rewards you. It depends on the context of the situation. We have a wealth of factors, both physical and philosophical, in making the right choice, but why do we succumb to making the wrong ones? Easy. If you are a child of God, we guess you'd probably know why. God serves as the compass that leads us to the right path and ultimately to the promised life after we're released from the mortal coils, right? To turn to Him for guidance is to make the right choice. The wisdom that God offers, however He likes to present them, is the key that opens the door to a wealth of goodness in life. This doesn't mean we should not abide by the psychological and philosophical side of it all, but to turn to God magnifies our ability to make the right choice and solidifies our knowledge of what is right. Think of God as a universal formula for solving equations in life. After all, isn't life one big mystery? The compass that God provides and the wisdom that it comes with is a foolproof way to get ourselves to the best possible outcome. But wait, there's a catch. Part of God's design is the mystery of His love. Sometimes, what happens after making a choice isn't the outcome that we expect. Sometimes, we get to places we never thought of, being in situations we are never prepared for. It is through these seeming contrivances that we arrive at a certain wisdom and joy. God's knack for wisdom-giving twists and turns might not give us what we want, but what we need. Part of the human condition is to rebel against this reality. More often than not, we tend to have metaphorical tantrums if we don't get what we want, simply because we haven't seen what's ahead yet. We haven't quite grasped the wisdom of God. It is because of this human characteristic that we need to ask more guidance and trust in God's wisdom. We tend to ask for the wise instead of looking for the little bits of wisdom like directions on a trail as things unfold, with our minds on the path and our hearts to God. Perhaps the choices that got you to bad places lack guidance. Perhaps they lack a compass. Perhaps they lack the wisdom that only a heart that loves and trusts God can give. Perhaps the next time you're about to make a choice, you should look up to God and trust Him. And as always, bring your best.